Labor had a promise to bring in what they are calling the app tax. And what it meant was that if you're using Uber or Uber Eats or Airbnb, there'd be a 15% GST levy on that. And one of National's promises was to scrap that tax, Chewy. But guess what? They need more revenue. So they're not going to scrap it. So let's just say the Airbnb industry, part of the real estate industry, who gave them lots of money before the election, won't be very happy with them right now.
Another of National's campaign promises is on the scrap heap. In opposition, the party had vowed to kill the so-called app tax, which saw companies like Uber and Airbnb forced to pay GST. But now, to help pay for its coalition promises, the tax is staying. Business correspondent Katie Bradford has details.
Have you ever wanted your Uber trips or food deliveries to be more expensive? No? Well, that's too bad. Labor's new app tax is going to make all those prices go up.
There were social media ads, email marketing campaigns, memes, media releases and petitions. A full-scale campaign promising to scrap Labor's so-called app tax.
Up to 15% more on every Uber ride you take.
But now it's here to stay.
We are really disappointed at National's backflip on this previously rock-solid pre-election commitment that they would repeal this tax. This is going to make the tax system more complicated, and it runs the risk that Kiwis are going to be paying more.
The tax imposes a 15% GST charge on service apps like Airbnb and Uber. It's estimated it'll bring in $47 million a year in revenue. But in August, National argued it'd force Kiwis to pay more for services during a cost of living crisis.
We will cancel the app tax.
Airbnb already pays GST on what we earn. What this system will do is create a system whereby hosts, the people who own accommodation, will have to be paying GST in addition to the GST that we pay. That means GST is going to be applied on a number of bookings where it wouldn't have ordinarily applied, and that just means that cost gets passed on to consumers.
Labor says the tax always made sense.
This is an absolute shambles alongside putting in place.
How much are Labor MPs who were in the last government just loving what they're seeing? Like I said last week, I mostly am concerned for the vulnerable, but that vindictive part of me is just kind of, it's like a lapping up of this. And it's really, remember this, actually, I should be careful. I'm not trying to be vindictive, but what it is holding National to their own standard. In other words, what they've promised, or holding National to the standard that they held Labor to. That's all it is. So this is not going above and beyond. I put a few tweets out today and people were like, oh, so where were you when Labor was doing all this? I was like, yep, we were talking about it. Where are you now? So it's that. I
love it when that it's like, you don't watch the show. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, watch the show.
You want to?
We'll just get to the end of Grant, and then you can share your words of wisdom.
So tax cuts funded by more people smoking. We now have a backflip.
So now it'll come into force in April as planned.
Our absolute priority is getting more money into the bank accounts of working people.
They're scrambling around looking for money in every corner. If I were a National voter who had voted for them on the basis of their policy program, day by day, I'm seeing that fall apart.
1 week into the job, the finance minister left to swallow a dead rat.
We campaigned on a tax package that had other sources of revenue in it. We now have
We just didn't know what they were before the election. I'm going to leave her right there, Chewy. Off you go.
So hang on. They have sort of gone, hey, we campaigned on this, so we've absolutely got to do it on a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then on this, it's suddenly like, no, we need more money.
Yeah.
So basically, if they dig their heels in on campaigning on stuff, it means nothing. It means nothing. Second of all, Airbnb guy can suck a fat pole. Like, Jesus. Like, all of these apps that they're talking about are companies with, like, terrible reputations for outcomes, right? Uber just banking billions of dollars on the back of contractors, not employees. Airbnb has ruined communities and taken millions of homes out of the market
for renters.
For renters, for people that want to own a home. Now they're profit generating units. They've shit on hotels and actual professional accommodation all over the place. Fuck them. I don't care. This argument that everyday New Zealanders are going to pay more, but if you don't like it, mate, pack up your shit. Just get out of it. I don't care. Like this app tax is obviously something that needed to happen, and National have acknowledged that, but just do not want us to draw a straight line to them going, it's a terrible piece of Labour policy. It's absolute bullshit. And all of these flashy ads that real cash from these apps have funded. And now these guys are salty because they're not going to get their way. I love it. It's delicious. More of it, please.